Hey Denchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and welcome to my review of the debut Jack U record. Skrillex and Diplo present Jack U. Now, if you don't know Skrillex and Diplo, which you probably should by now, Skrillex is a American dubstep producer, and he's done other stuff. He's done trap. He's actually had a collab with Diplo on his last album, Recess. I loved Recess. It made my top 10 last year. Diplo, I haven't always been the biggest fan of Diplo. He's in Major Lazer. If you don't know, they have a song called Bubble Butt that was really popular, and I never liked that. So, yeah, I was kind of biased toward Diplo, but on this record, it definitely shown that I did really like this style of music, and man, Jack U, it's this trap project, and Jack U's been gaining a lot of popularity lately. They had a big radio single called Take You There with Kiza. Kiza had a hit song called Hideaway that was big on the radio, but she decided to collab with Jack U on this record, and part of Jack U's big thing on this record is that they had an absolute all-star lineup, including Justin Bieber and 2 Chainz, and man, they somehow managed to make Justin Bieber and 2 Chainz sound good. Man, I actually enjoyed this record, which I was so surprised because I went into this not really having that high of hopes, but man, I definitely appreciated it. I expected it to be a little longer. It's only 10 tracks, and that includes a remix from Missy Elliott that doesn't really count in my opinion because it's a bonus track as listed on iTunes. I'm assuming the CD version isn't going to have it if they have a CD version, but and then there's an intro track which also wasn't extremely impressive because it's basically just Skrillex and Diplo talking about Jack U taking Jack U. It's some kind of thing where they're calling their music an alternative to drugs, basically, and while I do agree with that, it's just a bit strange. It was a cool intro, but it's basically just them talking and then slowed down. So, track called Don't Do Drugs, Just Take Some Jack U. And basically the rest of this album is just them being completely boss and absolutely blowing away, other than basically this track. I'm going to get this out of the way right now. It's called Jungle Bay, and I really didn't like it. It's kind of got a big room style, and as you guys know, I'm not really crazy on that big room house style where it's just spinning record sound. Let's just get the mainstream stuff out of the way. That is my least favorite track on the record. I'm just going to point that out. Most of the other stuff I am absolutely crazy about, though, like this first real track on this record called Beats Knockin', and basically this track is kind of a rerun of Express Yourself by Diplo, if you guys remember that one. It's with Nikki to be, RIP to that guy because he died last year, if you guys didn't know. That was Diplo's probably greatest hit, but this track I feel like really shines a light on this part and Diplo, and they really try to get both their styles in there, try to mix them up a little and make some unique music on this record. The first of which of those being Take You There, which was the lead single like I mentioned. It's got some and that comes back, that same little style, back on the song Mind with Kai, who actually sang vocals on Diplo's Revolution, and that was a pretty good hit, I think. That, like I said, that same comes back on this track, and I think if I can hear right, if my hearing's okay, then I think that this track was sung by Skrillex along with Kai, and I wouldn't be surprised. Skrillex has done vocals before on Fire Away. I'm just going to keep tying things together, because why not? Fire Away. This track with Justin Bieber, Where Are You Now, which actually they were getting initially a lot of hate for doing a couple weeks ago when I think DJ Snake announced, oh, by the way, Jack U's doing a song with Justin Bieber, and everyone was like, what the frick is going on here? They're collabing with Justin Bieber, and he hasn't been exactly good to the EDM scene, but he comes out in this track, and I think this track pulls a lot of inspiration from Skrillex's Fire Away from his last album, with the kind of deep house minimal section toward the end of the track, and I liked it, but This isn't my favorite track on the record, it's the most popular, most bought track on iTunes right now, but I'm going to get into the tracks that I really, really, really liked. So, the track with 2 Chainz, I was really surprised because I really don't like 2 Chainz. He's had a lot of bad appearances on just random pop tracks, and he doesn't really seem to fit in, but on this one, goes on talking about how he is the junk and he probably needs Febreze. I use that term loosely because he says a word that I don't say, and that's gonna make me sound like a wimp, but I don't swear, so gotta keep the channel family friendly. And this track's called Febreze. Like I said, he actually comes up with some clever lyrics on this one, which I haven't really seen previously. It's just kind of lame, like, oh, innuendo, ooh, this is cool. Not really. With 2 Chainz, but on this track I actually seem to like him, and this is definitely one of my favorite tracks on the record. The next favorite track is called Holla Out, which Jack U did with Snails and Tarantula. And man, I am so excited to see Snails on this collab. I had heard about this a while ago. Snails has got some close ties with Yori DM, so I've got some kind of ties with him, and he's made a lot of music with Botneck and people like that. I've used his music in sets before. Must Die's remixed him. He had a song called Wild. Anyway, it's really cool to see Snails, and this track is definitely a Skrillex and Snails centered piece, and I definitely enjoyed it. My favorite track overall. You'll have to check it out to really understand. It's hard dubstep or drum step. I can't really remember the BPM, but one of those two. It's very nice. And lastly, I'm going to talk about this track called To You featuring Aluna George. And Aluna did a track called White Noise with Disclosure. That's how I found out about her, but it was really cool. During the early previews, I actually wasn't crazy about this track. I was just like, meh. But this version, whatever they put on the album, I must have not heard before, because man, this track is fantastic and kind of brings this future bass style in that Flume has brought and got popular. People on Monster Cat have been doing a lot of future bass recently, but this track absolutely kills it, and I love Aluna's vocals. Everything just mashes perfectly together, and definitely one of the tunes that I liked most sticking out. So that covers basically every track. Overall, I'm going to give this record an 8.5, and man, it is good. I'm gonna feel bad about giving it this 8.5 when so many people are liking it, but honestly, it didn't have enough tracks, and the tracks that kind of extended it didn't really add up to 10. It's already a short album, but that makes it even shorter. I feel like it should have been a bit longer, had some more styles in it, and probably chopped out that one Jungle Bay track that I just didn't really feel like was pulling anything unique to the table. But that's as good as I gave Above and Beyond's record, so good job Skrillex and Diplo on this record. I definitely enjoyed it a ton. Like I said, I'm probably going to say that anything above a 7 that I rate, or 7 or above for that matter, is considered a great album to me. So this is a great album. Fantastic would be somewhere around a 9 or a 10. This album is good. This album is great. I am going to stop blabbering because I have to go soon. Anyway, guys, check out Skrillex and Diplo's Jack U presents Jack U, whatever you want to say it. I don't really know how I'm going to word this on the title because it's very strange. They're a group called Jack U, but on iTunes they listed it as Skrillex and Diplo. Whatever. Anyway, 8.5. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll see you later.